So I've often heard people say that if they had some paint that had dried out, they've been recommended to throw it away. Well, as you can see, I have got a Winsor & Newton here, which I can tell you was completely solid. So using my craft knife, I've cut open the side of the tube. This is Prussian blue, and I'm now going to use my brush to see if it's worth saving your paints in this way. Let's see, shall we? Because paints are expensive. I've had it soaking in some water. I've thrown some water in the top there. So I'm now going to go in. I'm going to go with this watery paint that's just on the outside, which you can probably see has got some flaky bits of paint in it. So just there you can see. That's the initial wash that came out. So if we paint with that, what happens? So we've got some little bits in there, and it's a very thin wash because I've put lots of water in there. Okay, so yes, we've got some little bits of paint flakes there, but if I was doing a textured scene, that probably wouldn't matter so much. So what happens if I go into the main body of this paint that's completely and utterly dried out, and it's just now been reignited with some water? Mix that up. You can see there's lots of particles in that. So if I pop that on, colour's okay. It's obviously a lot harder to work up a lot of paint because it's like trying to mix with dried concrete. It's not easy. It's not like your pan where your paint is sitting in the pan or on your palette from your last use and it's still got a bit of softness to it. This is really dried out, probably over several years. So I would say if you were practicing playing around with paints, especially if you're doing textures, there's no reason why you couldn't take your very dried up tube of paint and extract the paint from it, but you just have to be aware that it's going to have flakes of paint in it. Well, certainly this colour has. Maybe not all paints would behave the same way, but for me those flakes could actually add another dimension to a textured painting. So I'm not too worried about that. I would probably use that until I'd got bored of it, or until it was too much like hard work to mix it up again, because obviously the tube is completely open now. You can't leave it soaking in water because it will go off, but there's a limit on to how much more you can use. But then if you've got a whole tube like that dried out and you wet it up, you could really have a lot of fun just playing around with it, not worrying about wasting paint. So my conclusion is it's not essential to throw them away just because they're dry. Why not try and see what happens? Depends on your style of painting. So good luck, have fun. If you've got dried paints, get them out and cut them open.